You know, if your focaccia isn't bubbling like a cloud, you're missing out. This is the airiest bread you'll ever bake. And the secret isn't what you think. Most people skip this one step. But it's the only way to get that massive oven spring. Today, I'm showing you the secret method for perfect focaccia. Simple, fast, and incredibly delicious. So let's get started. First, let's prepare the yeast mixture. Today I'm using lukewarm water because it's winter and my kitchen temperature is quite low. For this recipe, I'm using 540 grams of water, which is about 19.05 ounces. In colder weather, lukewarm water helps the yeast work better and supports a good dough rise. As usual, I'm using instant dry yeast because it is simple and convenient. There is no need to activate it first. You can add it straight into the liquid, but if you are using active dry yeast, make sure to activate it first before mixing it with the flour. Next, add 1 tablespoon of honey. Honey helps speed up the fermentation process, and it also gives the bread better color while baking. That means a more beautiful golden crust in the end. Now add the olive oil. I always recommend using a good quality extra virgin olive oil because it adds that rich flavor that makes focaccia taste truly special. Once everything is in, give it a good mix until the yeast, honey, and olive oil are nicely combined. Then set this aside for a moment while we prepare the flour. Today I'm using Caputo bread flour, which has 12% protein. Bread flour is a great choice for focaccia because it has more protein than all-purpose flour. For this recipe, I'm using 600 grams, or about 21.15 ounces. Now for the salt, I'm using 7 grams of salt flakes. Salt is not just for flavor, it also helps control fermentation, strengthens the dough, and balances everything nicely. So first, mix the flour and salt together well. Once that is done, we can move on to mixing the dough. Now let's bring everything together. Pour the prepared yeast mixture into the flour. Start mixing gently using your hand or a spatula. At first, it might feel a little rough, but keep going. Mix until there are no dry patches left. Just a couple of minutes is enough. This is high hydration dough, which means it has more water than usual, and that extra water is exactly what creates those soft, airy bubbles later. As you mix, you'll notice the texture. It's soft, sticky, and a little messy. That's a good sign. That's exactly what we want. Once everything is combined, scrape down the sides of the bowl, cover it, and let it rest. I'm leaving this dough to rest for about 1 hour. No kneading, no effort, just letting time does the work. After 1 hour, come back and take a look. You'll immediately see the difference. The dough looks smoother, more relaxed, and easier to handle. Now, lightly wet your hands. It prevents sticking and helps you handle the dough easily. From here, we start building structure very gently. No kneading at all. We'll use a folding method instead. Start with the first round. Pick up one side of the dough, stretch it upward gently, then fold it over to the other side. Turn the bowl slightly and repeat the same process. Go all the way around the bowl, stretching and folding each side once. For this dough, we'll do 3 rounds of stretch and folds, followed by 1 coil fold. Once done, cover the dough again and let it rest for 45 minutes. After the rest, come back for the second round. Now you'll really feel the change. The dough is smoother, stronger, and less sticky. Repeat the same gentle motion. Stretch, fold, rotate. Each fold is quietly doing its job. It's strengthening the dough, trapping air, and preparing it for those big irregular bubbles. Once the second round is complete, cover it again and let it rest for another 45 minutes. Now it's time for the third and final round of stretch and fold. You can see here the dough feels very different from when we first mixed it. It will look smoother, feel softer. As you lift the dough, you'll notice that it stretches much more easily now. It shows that the gluten has developed nicely and the dough is gaining strength in a gentle way. Once this final round of stretch and folds is done, we'll move on to a few coil folds. Coil folds work especially well for high hydration dough like this. They help strengthen the dough even more while keeping the air inside and gives focaccia those beautiful large open bubbles. After the coil folds, cover the bowl again and let the dough rest for the final time. You can leave it at room temperature for about 1 hour or a little longer, depending on your kitchen temperature. Or if you prefer, you can place it in the fridge overnight for even more flavor. Let's prepare the baking tray. Add some olive oil to the tray and spread it well across the bottom, the corners, and the side. Now carefully transfer the dough into the tray. Handle it gently. Try not to rush this part. Let the dough settle naturally into the tray, then use light hands to ease it outward. Do not force it to stretch too much at this stage. For extra flavor, I'm adding herbs and garlic powder to the dough. This gives the focaccia a beautiful aroma and a more savory finish. But you can keep it simple or use your own favorite flavors instead. Once the seasoning is added, fold the dough gently from both sides. Then carefully turn it over. After that, settle it back into the tray. Cover the tray and let it proof for about 1 hour. The exact time will always depend on how warm or cool your kitchen is, or until it looks puffy and full of air. And while the dough is proofing, do not forget to preheat the oven. Do not overproof the dough. If it rises too much, it may lose strength and collapse later. Once the dough is nicely proofed, sprinkle over a little more garlic and herbs. Here, I'm also adding some shredded cheese on top. You can follow the same topping or use whatever you like. Now drizzle some extra virgin olive oil over the surface. Then use your fingertips to press straight down into the dough all over the top to create those classic focaccia dimples. Look at those bubbles. This is exactly what we want to see. Finish with a light sprinkle of salt flakes over the top. Now the focaccia is ready for baking. Place the tray into the hot oven. And just before baking, pour a little water into a hot tray in the oven to create steam. That steam helps the bread rise better and supports a lighter, more open texture. Bake for 23 to 25 minutes or until the top is deeply golden and the bottom has a light crispness. As soon as the bread comes out of the oven, brush a little melted butter over the top while it is still hot. This gives the crust extra flavor and a beautiful finish. And the aroma at this stage is just amazing. I really hope you enjoyed this recipe and found the process easy to follow. If you liked it, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share it with anyone who loves homemade bread. And if you enjoy this recipes, you'll find many more here on the channel. Subscribe and explore more ideas whenever you like. Until next time, enjoy your beautiful homemade bread.